So on that day, I said, you know what? I'm gonna get an audition for that show. I'm putting it out there. I'm putting it out there. Sohile, that night, I'm at Lowe's losing it. I'm in the plumbing aisle, and at 5:55, I get the notification text that you have an audition. And you see the preview, and it says US of Al.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sohile Ali Show, a podcast where I interview interesting guests from all walks of life, each with their own stories to tell. My guest today is Afghan actor Wali Habib. You can catch him playing Cousin Zubair on United States of Val. It airs Thursday nights at 8:30 Eastern on CBS. And if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give it a 5-star review, follow the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please leave a like, comment below, and subscribe. Please enjoy my conversation with the one, the only, Wali Habib. Welcome, Wali Habib, to the Sohile Ali Show. Thank you so much for taking time to speak with me today, brother.
Sohile Ali, man, glad to be here.
Absolutely. Happy to meet you virtually. I think this is the best way it could have been done. Obviously, you're in California and I'm here in Indiana, but hopefully one day our paths can cross in person and we can get something going in person, but I'll take this for now.
Inshallah, man, I'm looking forward to that day.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to start off by saying it's an honor to speak with you as a young Afghan, interested in the arts, a fan of the arts, to speak with you, a working actor, an Afghan in the industry. It's an honor, and I once again want to thank you, and I hope to have a cool conversation today.
Oh man, the pleasure is all mine, dude. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Well, I'd love to just get started to get to know you a little bit more. So could you tell me, where were you born? What was your childhood like? And what drew you to acting?
I was born in Los Angeles, California, born and raised. Um, I was always an active kid growing up. I was always into sports. My first passion was playing tabla.
Oh, wow.
I played music,
Musical, yeah.
and that was like my father was really into singing and performing, and he had a lot of friends that they would come, and as a young kid, I was growing up around this. They always had like Faiz Qadri was coming by singing, and like Sulaiman Hamzada and like Farid Rosta and all these guys sort of were like playing music at
Yeah.
my house as a child, and
Oh,
my dad and his friends were always playing music, and I was always sort of there, and I kind of got into playing tabla, and you know how it is, you play at Maimoni's and sometimes weddings and like cultural shows, and so I always kind of had some stage presence, if you will, and it just sort of evolved into acting. And in middle school we did a play. We were, when the curriculum, you learn about Greek and Roman mythology. So
right, sure.
one of the assignments was we took these stories and we made plays out of them.
Ah,
And I was playing, my Greek mythology is not really sharp, but I was playing like someone's father, Athena, or someone's father,
sure.
an old man. And I
Uh-huh.
just remember asking myself, like, how does an old man walk? How does an old man talk? How does he
Uh-huh.
carry himself? And I really took that and ran with it. So I embodied
Oh.
the old man. And at the end of the semester, if you will, they did these acting awards, and I won
Mm,
the best male actor for
nice.
that project. And I was like, that was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Went full method.
Yeah, I guess so. Without even knowing what it was, I went full method. Yeah.
Wow, at an early age, like 13, like you said, middle school, huh?
Yeah, exactly. 11, 12, 13, something around there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to say before we move on, like the musical background, just being Afghan and you obviously being in California, that area, the scene is huge. Like you mentioned, all the singers. Like, would your dad play harmonium and sing? Because my
Yeah.
dad definitely is into that. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad, he played harmonia and
Mhm.
singing. He was obviously a big fan of Ahmad Zahir, and he had a huge cassette collection and CD collection back then. He still has it actually somewhere in the garage.
Oh,
But
good.
he was always passionate of the arts.
Oh my God.
He always invested in the arts. I remember when we would go to Santa Monica, the Angelinos don't know what I'm talking about. Third Street, they would have these street performers, right?
Uh,
And he'd always give me like a couple dollars to go put in the
mm,
donation. So So supporting the arts was always something that I grew up around.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I think our dads, if they don't know each other already, they should probably get
Yeah,
together sometime.
I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure they do.
I swear. What is your dad's name? Just curious. My dad might
My
know him.
dad's name is Ibrahim Habib.
Okay. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Awesome. My dad, he'll be watching this, so I'm sure he'll be on Facebook looking him up pretty soon.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
But that's beautiful, man. So from there, high school, were you also into like theater, drama, that kind of stuff in high school?
You know, the funny thing is, my high school went on a track system the year I got there.
Oh,
Are you familiar with that? It's like A track, B track, C track. So like the A track is the regular semester.
mm-hmm.
The B track is like they're there in the fall, but then they're off in spring and then they go back in summer.
Okay.
And then I was on C track. So I went to school all summer long and I was
Oh,
off in winter. So
okay.
it really screwed up my high school social life, probably for the better. But in short, I was not able to join the performing arts in high school. Although I was into it, my high school was completely taken up with sports. I was a multi-sport athlete. You know, I played football, basketball, track in the spring. So
Nice.
I just it didn't happen for me. You know.
Okay, so you just lean into the athletics a little bit more,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then were you?
I wish I did, but you know, I just circumstance sort of just didn't pan out that way.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I mean, all throughout though, being in the greater Los Angeles area, were you still kind of scratching that desire to act, or did you kind of take a
Yeah,
break? Yeah.
yeah. You know, matter of fact, even when I was a junior in high school, I began taking acting classes at the community college.
Mm,
So I took, you know, like acting and, you know, voice at Pierce College and at Valley College, which are, you know, local community colleges in the Valley here.
mhm.
And so I started, you know, even in high school, I was taking those classes. And it was interesting because I was always the youngest kid there. And I,
Yeah.
I probably thought I was like this amazing actor back then, but looking back, I was like, man, I must have been so green, right?
Yeah. In high
So
school, I mean, with people who are coming from all over the
yeah,
world to these
yeah.
schools, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just I don't know, like someone put it into my mind, like, hey, you should take some college classes, you know. And I said, okay, I'll do it. Because like I said, I couldn't take it in high school, so I figured I might as well take it in college. So I began sort of, you know, academically, if you will, learning about drama
Mm-hmm.
and all that. And then
Oh, through.
I ended up majoring in film. I ended up
Okay.
majoring in film in college,
Mm-hmm.
and I sort of almost minored in theater. And
Oh, yeah.
I was like, why didn't I just get a theater degree? It would have been more conducive. But
You were learning to be a director, and then you apply that to your
no,
acting skills.
the funny thing is I always knew I wanted to be an actor,
Uh-huh.
but I just didn't compute that you should take theater, not film.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
I don't
Maybe. Yeah.
know.
But
So I ended up doing film, but the
mhm.
good thing is I was introduced to a lot of great filmmakers, as you can imagine. I mean, I was introduced to, you know, the French auteurs, the Italian auteurs, the French New Wave, and the American auteurs. So,
Mhm.
I mean, that was very, very incredible experience because, like I said, I got to see these classic filmmakers on the big screen, you know,
Yeah.
and then we'd sit back and listen to the professors talk back, and so it was
Study
really,
them.
yeah, study them really,
Yeah.
and I was introduced to the great actors of the bygone era. So it was
Wow.
very, and so you take that and then you take my
Mhm.
passion, you kind of put it together. And so that's kind of like the recipe, if you will, that kind of led me
Yeah.
to it.
I mean, it sounds like a pretty straight path. Like you kind of always wanted to do this. I know you mentioned, having the performing aspect of your
Yeah.
childhood that encouraged you. I'm sure your parents also encouraging this path as well.
You know, very much so. You know,
Wow.
I mean, I guess I could take it for granted. You know, my parents never told me I couldn't do this or I shouldn't do this.
Hmm.
You know, so, and I'm sure coming from, you know, Afghan background, that's rare, I would imagine. You know, but like I
A
said,
little bit, a little bit.
like I
Yeah.
said, it was never like, no, Bachim, you know, what are you doing? Like, don't do
Mm.
that. It was always like, hey, if you're gonna do it, you better be the best at it. So
Yeah. Go all in.
yeah, and my
That's
dad,
beautiful.
man, you know, I gotta give a shout out to him. He's a very unique individual. You know, he was always an open-minded person. You
Mm.
know, he was always into the arts. He was always into personal development.
Mm.
Like I said, you know, when he would take me to school in the morning, he would like I would listen to this raspy voice coming out of the speakers, like, who is this guy? Anthony Robbins. That's okay. And
Oh,
so I'm like, okay, but year in, year out, just being exposed to that and being exposed to the, personal development
mhm.
arena just really kind of led me to understand that if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it right.
Great lessons in that. Wow. Yeah. Very influential. I mean, that's beautiful. I'm very happy to hear that. And do you have
Yeah,
siblings?
I do. I am the oldest of four.
Oh, wow.
So I have a younger brother, Asan. He's a successful musician. He does he's into music production and he plays keyboards. And I'm sure some of your followers would know him. And then it's my sister, and then it's my youngest brother, Subhan. He's also into music, but he does like American music and he's into hip
Yeah.
hop and rap and
Oh
and
my
he just
God.
made this incredible music video, and I was so impressed, man, because I've been on professional sets, and I was like, yo, this set right here is no walk in the park.
Right.
So he's just networking and doing his thing. So I am the oldest of four.
My God. I mean, mashallah, the talent in the family runs strong all throughout. And you kind of maybe set the standard, if you would,
I
being
don't
the
know
oldest.
about that. I don't know.
But
I'm just doing my best, man.
absolutely. Yeah, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, very inspiring for me to see. And I just want to mention, how I kind of, wanted to get connected with you is when I saw you were involved with this new show, United States of Val on CBS as the one, the only Cousin Zubair.
Bear, Zubair.
And
Yeah, it was.
yeah,
I mean, it's what an experience to hear your own, your own language on network television. It's an incredible experience.
I mean, absolutely. I just want to, jump to that if you're okay, if that's okay with you, because
Far away, man.
as a an Afghan myself, interested in these productions. Someone had told me about this way early last year before they had any even press out there about it. So I was kind of tracking the show, and
Yeah.
then like the minute I saw like more actors attached to it, I saw like you on there, and I think we followed you on Instagram. But I guess I'd love to ask kind of how you got involved with the show United States of Val from the beginning.
Well, I received the audition back in December of 2019. November, December of 2019 for the role of Al. I read for it. Um, Ken Miller and Nikki Valco at Valco Miller Casting. They were tremendous in the process. They brought me in again for a callback. I read for the creators, Dave and Maria. And then I had another callback with the executive producers, Chuck Lorre. And I just was thinking, like, man, they're really doing a show about an Afghan Terp moving to Ohio. And so that was that. I did that audition. And then a couple weeks later, they brought me onto their show, Bob Hart's Abishola, which is another Chuck Lorre production.
Yes.
And I had established that relationship with them. And I was like, wow, man, it really is who you know, right?
Mm.
If you do a good job once and they remember you, they will bring you back. And then I didn't hear anything for about a year. And funny story, man. My fiance is in Canada, and because of the pandemic, I hadn't seen her for about a year and a couple months. And so I wasn't able to go to Canada. I got turned back twice. So I started filing the paperwork, and I finally got my permission to go. And like the night before I'm supposed to fly out to go see her after a year, I was told that I have to have a negative COVID test to go. So I quickly run over, get a PCR,
Mm-hmm.
and I was still positive from a month before.
Oh.
So I couldn't fly out after being turned back 2 times, 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, man, what is God trying to tell me here? Like, what is happening?
So
So
she's from Canada, like kind of home is there.
I'm sorry.
Is she from Canada? Sorry.
She's Canadian. She's Afghan Canadian. She lives in Vancouver.
Okay.
And I'm like, are you kidding me, man? So I was devastated, but I was like, going back to my personal development background, I said, okay, how can I reframe this?
Mm.
So I went for a hike that morning with my cousins. We went to Runyon Canyon, the famous Instagram LA spot. We went there, and I was like, you know what, man, I feel like there's a reason for this. I feel like I'm supposed to, I journal every day, and I always write, I'm gonna get an audition today. And I'm telling you, man, it's like 60%, 75%. Every time I write that down, I get one. So I'm out there, I'm running. I said, you know what? I'm gonna get an audition. I'm gonna get an audition. And if I can jump back about a month, 2 months before this, I get a random call from my agent saying, hey, by the way, they called me back from the office saying they're still looking for a role for you on that show. I said, this was a call out of the blue.
Wow. Yeah.
This is like, okay. So on that day, I said, you know what? I'm gonna get an audition for that show. I'm putting it out there.
Put it out there. Manifest it. Yes.
Sohile, that night I'm at Lowe's.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like my third time back to Lowe's trying to find this piece to like install this water filter that I got. And I'm like losing it. Because Lowe's has the worst customer service out there. I'm telling you.
Oh God.
I'm in the plumbing aisle, and at 5:55, I get the notification text that you have an audition, and you see the preview, and it says U.S. of Al.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I'm like looking around, like,
what did you do? And you're alone. You're just like, plumbing aisle.
So then, yeah, man, that's it. So I got the audition for Zubair, and I immediately went home. I started working on it. I did my thing. I kind of, I sent it in, and that's how it happened. And I got the role. So that day, that night that I was supposed to be there, I put myself on tape, and I had sent it in. And even if I would have gone to Canada and I would have put myself on tape, I would not have been able to come back, because they require like 15 days to stay there, and they were shooting like maybe within that 2 weeks.
Ooh,
so
nice.
Wow. Just people out there, man. Everything happens for a reason. It's a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason.
Clearly, it's all part of the plan. Wow.
All part of the plan.
But I hope you were eventually reunited with your fiance.
She's here right now.
Right. Good.
She's here in the other room, and I got your email. I was like, oh my God, we were supposed to.
No, it's okay. No. But wow. And then you were obviously in town. So like you said, the next couple of weeks, did you, because I know they made that whole set. If those of you listening, those of you watching, if you haven't seen it yet, please check out United States of Val. Wali here plays Cousin Zubair. As in my interview with Reza Aslan, executive producer, said, he steals the show. As he said, and he's in multiple episodes. You can check him out. But the thing that I was tracking and watching was the set that they created, because your character. Well, how would you describe your character, Cousin Zubair?
Cousin Zubair is like American at heart, if you will. He's a fun guy. He's a fun guy. He likes to have fun. I remember the audition piece that I read was such an incredible scene.
Yeah.
It's like, Al is worried about this young lady in his life, right? And I'm like, bro, you're in America, have fun. And then when it's time, and then you'll marry a nice Muslim Afghan girl, So he's like, he's a fun guy, He's with it. To have fun, but he also has his values, of course. He has the Afghan values, but I would say he's very much like us. He's got best of both worlds.
Oh man, absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's beautiful. And what I found astounding was the set that they created for Cousin Zubair to kind of FaceTime in from. Was on set at Warner Brothers, right?
I'm telling you, man, it's Susan does a great job. I mean, she's the set production designer, and in Hasina's room, who plays my cousin Al's sister, there's this beautiful piece that she gets, and I think a lot of I got to give a shout out to Hila Hamidi. You should have her on the show. She's incredible, man. I've never met a person that's more passionate about where she comes from than Hila. And I met her on set, and like she had a hand in everything. So the reason why I bring this up was because she had a hand in the production design. She would say like, oh no, that's not how that would go. Or she actually she found Fatima Hosseini, who's a Afghan photographer, artist, and so she contacted her, and they had her pictures on set. And I mean, it was just incredible. It was really well done. I mean, and
Beautiful.
Warner Brothers, man, they don't mess around. I mean, they do it right.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, just this whole experience, like you described earlier, just as a fan watching, as someone who, can't wait to get involved, inshallah, it looks like something that the Afghans have never had before. You can attest in production.
Man, I'm telling you, like, I feel like we jumped the line a little bit, if you will. I
Sure.
mean, there's so many communities that want their voice to be heard, and they want their stories to be told, and
Hmm.
we are getting our stories told.
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know and we have Afghan writers on the show, we have
Hmm.
Afghan talent on the show, and this is an incredible first step,
Hmm.
and this show will spur on more careers. It will
Hmm.
lead to bigger things. It will lead to a clearer voice of the Afghan diaspora. And what an honor to be on this train, sort of pioneering this path, and just enjoying the scenery.
Absolutely. I mean, you do an amazing job at it, and like Reza said, Cousin Zubair steals the show,
Oh,
and
thank you.
I look forward to more episodes. I mean, every week my parents, my Afghan parents and I, we watch it
Yeah.
8:30s on CBS Thursday nights, and
Yeah, it's incredible, man. Like, just just how much of our culture is being shared. Like the last episode, Al's going through heartbreak and he's listening to
oh,
Am Zayed, and it's
that
like
scene, God,
to hear the king,
oh,
on national television. It's like overdue, but it's just incredible. It's just incredible.
overdue. Absolutely, the Dari that's spoken. I
Daddy,
mean,
yes.
I'm sure. Have you gotten a chance to work directly with Adir
Oh
Kailan?
man, let me
Yeah.
tell you something, man. Adir is an incredible person.
Mm,
Besides being a great actor, and he has me in stitches every week. And he's a really genuine, good-hearted person. You know, he was one of the first persons to come up and introduce himself to me.
mm.
And check in on me, and I mean, I just can't say enough good things about him. He's just a fantastic person to work with, and to know he's really great.
I love it.
Really, honestly, the entire cast.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
gonna say it
Parker is
seems.
great. He was the
Mhm.
first person that I talked to. I was walking to my trailer. He's like, "Is that Zubair over there?" And it's just a great
Eh,
place to go to work. Everyone's laughing, everyone's respectful, and they're eager about learning our culture. You know,
mm,
and that's where Gila comes into play. And
mhm,
and credit to Maria and Dave that really sort of let Gila sort of do her thing,
mm,
and it's just an incredible work environment.
mm.
Just really incredible work environment. I mean, really, it's like it's kind of setting the bar high. It's
Sh-
because
Quite,
I'm
yeah.
I'm I'm quite certain every set is not like this. I'm like,
Oh
is,
yeah.
is is every set like this? And it's probably not. So it's a great place to be, man. Great place to be.
I mean, I'm very happy that you get to have this experience. You of course should, and you're no stranger to being on shows on CBS, like you mentioned, and shows like SWAT and other shows in general. Counterpart with J.K. Simmons, you were part of as well. But it's really, I mean, for you to say that about this production and its set, I think speaks volumes. And congratulations to you, everyone else on the show and involved for the season 2 renewal. 22 more episodes guaranteed. That's amazing.
Wow, that's so it's 22 seasons. Has that been confirmed?
22 episodes for season 2. Yeah, I think that's good.
Wow.
Yeah. So what's in store for Cousin Zubair? What do you think?
Oh man, I don't know. I think Zubair wants to come to America and show Al how to really live,
Yeah.
because they have this funny cousin rivalry,
Yeah.
as you've seen. And
The lawnmowers.
yeah, I'm sure Zubair's in for a rude awakening when he gets to Ohio and he realizes that it's not Times Square or
Oh,
it's not Hollywood. But that's gonna be quite
that's
interesting to see, where that goes.
that's the same rude awakening my family had when they came to America and they landed in Indiana. But
And
no, no.
Bloomington, huh?
We're very close. We're about like a couple hours from where the show is set in Ohio. So I was like, they were so close. It could have been right here. But
I've actually been to Indiana, man.
whoa, nice. Really?
I've been to Indiana. I gotta tell you, Midwest is some really nice folks. We actually drove through. We landed in Milwaukee.
Okay.
Landed in Milwaukee. This is 2009. We were going to Rothbury Music Festival, so we landed there, and we drove around the lake. We went stopped Gary, Indiana. You know Michael Jackson's old
There you
town,
go. Yeah, yeah.
and
Oh, wow.
we went to Music Fest.
Uh-huh.
I think that was in Indianapolis. It was a great time. And then we worked our way up to Michigan, but
Yeah.
such
Oh,
nice people there.
absolutely. Let them know, man. Let them know. I mean, for this, on behalf of the Afghan community we do have here, which we do, we look to, this show, we look to people like you, Hila, Fahim, Ursula, all, yeah, Habib, Zohri, all the Afghans involved doing things on primetime television at this level. And it's only inspiring. We tell all of our friends about it. We tell the American friends, all of
Yeah.
our friends, we got to watch this show. And clearly people have been, clearly it's astounding the love it's gotten from everyone. So
Yeah, it had its look, man, it's I don't know what to say. It's just incredible it's happening. Like our voices are being heard on television, so
mm,
I'm just excited to see where it goes, honestly.
absolutely, same here. But if you do, for some reason, come back through the Midwest, come through Indiana, please stop through Bloomington, because
I
the Afghan
will.
community here, now that
I
we've seen
will.
you as cousins, we got to show you all the love. And we have Afghan restaurants here, family-owned
Yeah, take it
restaurants.
to some nice
So
kebab houses, man.
that's what I'm saying. We have it, man. Shout out Samir Restaurant here, my cousin's
Restaurant,
restaurant.
bro.
So yeah, you have to come through. But and hopefully one day, I come through to California again and our paths cross and
You
we
got a
can
friend here, man.
connect. Absolutely. Well, I also wanted to ask, so I'm just gonna look here. Yeah. Um, I wanted to ask you about, I believe you had an experience being either an interpreter or a translator. Is that correct?
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
So LA is a very big community. I had never really interacted with Afghans that much. It just
Hmm.
sort of didn't work out for me that way. I mean, I went to like masjid, you know.
Sure. The gatherings every so
But
often.
besides that, I didn't really have like this. I didn't know a lot of Afghans growing up.
Wow.
So when I did that for like a year or so, I was put inside of this like sort of Afghan world.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like an incredible education for me just to like hear Farsi every day and to see how people really act and how they carry themselves. And
Yeah.
it was really eye-opening experience, because I've never
Yeah.
had the opportunity to go to Afghanistan, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
being there for those 2 weeks, not only did it really improve my Farsi, but it really gave me like, who are we as a people?
Mm.
And it was like this awakening.
So you said 2 months to Afghanistan, you went?
No. I've never
Oh,
been
no.
there. No, like
Sorry.
the work that we did as an interpreter, it was like 2 weeks at a time,
Okay.
within certain bases.
Yeah.
And it was just it was eye-opening experience, man, just to like
Yeah.
see other people, like you meet guys from all over the country,
Mm-hmm.
Virginia, Kentucky, Kansas.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh wow, what's the Afghan experience there?
Mm.
I know what it's like here in a sort of liberal town, but what's it
Mm-hmm.
a conservative town? How do people react to you? I mean, do they sort of
Yeah.
like all bundle you up into one? So it was it
Mm-hmm.
was it was a new experience for me, and that was the most valuable thing that I had gotten because you're sort of isolated here. It's such a big city here in LA. Of course, Orange County might be a little bit more concentrated, and the Bay Area is a little bit more concentrated. I know my cousins, it's like Afghans are like everywhere, so
Yeah.
it's like you go to a store and you hear people, but that doesn't really happen here in LA,
Mm.
very seldomly does. So for me, that was
Sure.
the biggest takeaway for me, is just sort of, wow, that's what it's like, and so that was really a new experience.
Connecting with your culture again and in a
Yeah.
different way.
Yeah, different way.
Yeah.
Like I never had like those Afghan bro homies, like to like,
Ah,
you
that's
know,
surprising, honestly.
it
It's
didn't happen.
surprising.
It just
Yeah.
didn't happen. Like,
Yeah.
you know, of course,
Oh,
now that I'm older and I've reconnected with some of my masjid friends. Some of them are married, some of them we work out together,
yeah.
we play basketball together, we go to masjid together. But during those, sort of formative years of like, or later formative years in like middle school, high school, like I
Hmm.
didn't have any Afghan dudes in my schools, in high school, middle school.
You were like the only one, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I
Wow.
never had an Afghan friend like in middle school or high school. Like they
Hmm.
just didn't go to my schools.
Got you. And then yeah, just family as well nearby in that area.
Oh, we have a wonderful family. That's probably why I really didn't need it. Like on
Right.
my dad's side, we have about 14 siblings, and my
Yeah.
mom's side has 9 siblings. Um,
Wow. Wow.
Majority of my father's side is in Southern California. Some of them are in the Bay Area.
Hmm.
Well, shout out 510 Fremont,
Yeah.
East Bay. So we go there, every year for
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. And then my mom's side is in Orange County. So they are in very concentrated Afghan areas, but I'm sort of in LA's, which is a much
Sure.
larger city. It's hard to find concentration.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And I guess I just wanted to just reiterate, at when you were doing those interpreter, translator kind of stints, um, were there any challenges that you were facing? Like, how was your daddy? You said your daddy got better, but
My
was it?
daddy is pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's really good actually, but like translating logistical terms into Farsi is like,
Oh,
okay, like how do we say this? Like how do we say that? So, but like I said, once you're put in that situation,
mm-hmm.
it was like an acting experience, honestly. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a complete acting experience. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
What
you
was
you
your role? Were you like just someone in the village?
I played the Terp, I played the Terp. I wanted the
Right.
biggest role possible. So once you get there, you sort of divide into groups, right? You have
Mm-hmm.
civilians, and then you have sort of the ANA, the Afghan National Army. So
Okay.
the ANA, they go out and they live in the FOBs, the Fort Operating Base, so we build our own tent. They give us cots, and we live for 2 weeks with the soldiers. And
Oh.
and we practice in the morning, we do like routines, we learn
Mm-hmm.
how to like enter buildings, and we do like logistical trainings for 2 weeks at a time. And this culminates into this one big grand sort of exhibition where
Mm-hmm.
the army will have to enter a building, and we'll have to like enter a town rather, and sort of disable the insurgents and talk to the
Mm-hmm.
elders and negotiate peace contracts, and
Put it
everything
all
is
together.
scripted.
Mm.
Everything is scripted, so you're like basically
Oh,
acting in real time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They
Yeah.
put it all together so that they know
Oh,
exactly what that's like.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was a great experience, man. I learned, what goes on, what
Mm-hmm.
goes on here and what goes on there.
And I mean, having done that, it's, of course, worth mentioning that now to this show, which is about, for those that don't know or maybe haven't seen it yet,
Yeah.
Awalmir Al, an Afghan coming from Afghanistan who was an interpreter for the Marines, now coming to the U.S. With Riley, the Marine, his friend, and you were kind of, you know, in a way walking through that, emulating that, and then you
Yeah.
join the show. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's I grew up here, so I don't really, I mean, I sympathize with the experience, but I can only imagine, what it's like to be put in that situation, to sort of, want to help your country, and then, it's like it's a sticky situation,
Hmm.
and to be denied visas, and that whole experience, I can only imagine that it's a very difficult one.
Hmm.
And sort of to experience that on this side was a new experience for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, like Al says in two, the episode 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
everyone's helping their country the best way they can. You're helping by being
yeah,
representation for this next generation. Like I mentioned myself and those in my younger generation who look up to people like you and who are doing it at the highest level.
yeah. I mean, thank you. It's a great time to be in the business. I can only imagine doing this, 20, 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been a lot more difficult, more limited opportunities, but now doors are opening up.
Mm-hmm.
There's more inclusion of people of color,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's a prime time to be in the business.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And I I think I wanted to ask you, you know, for when young or aspiring actors ask you for advice, do you have some advice you like to give young actors in the business?
Oh man, don't do it. It just, you know what? I think you have to have a why.
Mm,
You know, like why do you want to do it? I always say, like, if I could give you $100 million check right now and tell you you would never have to act again, if you could take that check, then you shouldn't do it,
mm,
because it's not what it seems. It's going to take a lot longer than you think it is, you know. And at the end of the day, is it really worth it? So it's a lot of personal work that has to be done
mhm,
in order to take this endeavor. So a lot of personal work, a lot of, you know, introspection.
mhm, mhm.
But you know, if all that stuff checks out, you know, then if you're going to do it to the best of your ability. And a lot of it is, you know, working on yourself. You have to be really well read. You know, reading comprehension is something that I'm not sure a lot of actors pay attention to, but you have to be
Mm,
extremely well read and critical thinker, you know.
mhm.
And I would just say that just be true to yourself, you know, and do what feels right to you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing that, and that's very valuable. And
Well, what
you
is
know,
your advice to people, you know, trying to get
oh,
into the industry?
I haven't touched the industry, you know, in a sense of really being working in it. You know, I'm 23 years old, still trying to figure out what I want to do. So,
You're
uh,
doing it, man. I mean, the
yeah,
fact that you're having this podcast is great. It means that, you know, you're a go-getter. You're doing things that you're passionate about, and that's a lesson in itself for them, you know.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I always encourage anyone. Just like you mentioned, have a reason why you're doing something. Follow your passions, and what I am honored to do. And again, thank you for your time to speak with individuals like yourself who are doing things that I find fascinating and interesting, and just want to learn from. And hopefully now those that are watching, listening can learn from you as well. I guess my final question, Wali John, is who or what inspires you today?
Who or what inspires me today? Honestly, my blessings.
Mm,
You know, like I said, I have been given a unique opportunity. You know, if you take a look at, if I when I sit down and I do my own introspection,
mm,
I look at the time that I was born and the circumstances that I was born, with all the gifts that I've been given, you know, the supporting parents, the time that I've been put on this earth, you know. I, honestly, I can, you know, I can get cynical at times, you know, or very realistic at times, but I have to check myself and say that at the end of the day, God is the greatest, and nothing on earth is greater than God's blessing, right? You know, just the circumstance of the world and what our people back home are going through in Palestine, and you know, and you know, the refugees. You know, I did some time in Greece with the refugees, and you know, try to help Afghans as best I could. And so when you
mm,
take all that and you put it on your plate, it can sometimes become inundating, you know. So I say, okay, well, despite that all this is going on in the world, I've been given this opportunity to be here.
mm,
So how can I maximize my opportunity? And that really is what pushes me forward. I receive tremendous joy in being able to see and being able to hear. You know, it's something that I think a lot of people take for granted. But in my meditations, when I open my eyes for that first like 5 to 10 seconds,
mhm,
when the sun is beaming through the trees, and you know, I have my glasses on and everything's so clear, I'm so grateful that I could
mhm,
see, and I could see in color, you know, or that I could hear the birds chirping.
mm.
And so it's really those small things that really inspires me, and I'm so grateful for, and I always thank God for. And I say, you know what, thank you. And so how can I move forward and show my gratitude, and just be a positive light in this world.
Mm.
And so those are some of the things that just really inspires me to be my best every day.
Everything happens for a reason, and you count your blessings, and God willing, more blessings come your way, as that seems like the best outlook to have. So that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for your time today, Wali John. It was so great to get to meet you virtually. talk to you, and inshallah, this is not the last time we speak. And everyone watching, please follow Wali John, and be sure to check out his character, Cousin Zubair, Thursdays, 8:30 on CBS on United States of Val. Wali Habib, thank you so much for your time. Have a good rest of your weekend.
Sohile Ali, you're the man.
Real quick, before you click away, thanks so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Click right here to subscribe to my channel for all future videos, and click right here to check out this video over here. Have a great one.